gentlemen, good afternoon. I thought I switched it. No? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring this meeting to order, please. Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Holly Walcott, and I'm the City Clerk of the City of Los Angeles. Welcome to the special meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. We are located at 200 North Spring Street in the John Ferraro Council Chambers in City Hall in the great city of Los Angeles. Council meets regularly 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and all meetings are open to the public. Today is Saturday, July 1st, 2017. I will be the presiding officer for and until the election of the council president. For those who cannot travel to City Hall, meetings are televised via cable on Channel 35 or can be viewed also by visiting our website at www.lacity.org. You can also listen to council meetings on council phone by dialing 213-621-CITY. This special meeting is now in session. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, and Wesson. 15 members present and a quorum, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Pursuant to Council Number 1, the first order of business today will be the election of the council president, which requires a majority vote by open ballot. But before I do that, I just want to say what a special privilege it is for me to be here today. Particularly with this city council who has done so much to protect the rights and the freedoms of the citizens of Los Angeles. And I have to give a special shout out to 2 people, to Councilwoman Nuri Martinez, who's been the sole woman on this council for the last couple of years. And while the entire city council and the mayor have made women's equity and women's rights a top priority, Councilwoman Martinez puts everything she has into it. And she's now joined today by Councilwoman Rodriguez. And it thrills me that there's a second woman on this council. From the bottom of my heart, welcome. We have 2 public speakers on this matter. May I invite Mr. Previn to the mic? You have 1 minute. Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Walcott, City Council. It's a very exciting day. There's something is clearly different today. Mr. Bonin is wearing a tie, for one thing. We are very excited to elect a new council president. I would simply say to the new elected leadership, you'll all decide who that is, that we should elect someone who believes in the mantra of engagement. And, for example, now, even as I speak, on Channel 35, I appear like a small smudge, whereas when we cut back to you, fortunately, you appear in living color. And I want this to be heard in the context today. Sarah Palin, as you know, is suing the New York Times. Fewer will remember Times v. Sullivan, a very important case. Consider this a case against the backdrop of a profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. And that was, of course, Justice William J. Brennan. And I would ask that you, going to the next couple years, open the camera angle so that you're getting a $33 million studio for ITA, but let the public be seen. Thank you, and good luck, sir.
Ms. Antonia Ramirez, please. Please come to the mic. You have 1 minute. Is Ms. Ramirez in the room? What did he say? I didn't hear what he said. Oh, there she is.
Hi, what number am I speaking on?
You were speaking on the council president election and the council pro tem.
Okay.
And you have 1 minute.
Is that the public comment? I'm sorry,
You
could you
can only
start?
speak. You can only speak on the one item.
Okay, so on one item. I'm sorry, you didn't say that before I got here. Could you give me back my time, please? Could you give me back my time, please?
No. Please
Okay.
proceed.
This is exactly what I mean. We have no democracy because arrogant bitches like you and assholes.
Hey, the speaker is off topic. Ms. Ramirez, please get on topic or you'll forfeit your time. The speaker is now disrupting the meeting.
Ms. Ramirez, please have a seat.
Sergeant,
Ms. Ramirez, please have a seat. Thank you for your time. Please have a seat.
and
you.
the speaker is disrupting.
Please leave the room, Ms. Ramirez. Thank you for coming today. You are finished for the day. Thank you. It has been the tradition of the City Council. She's being disruptive. Ms. Ramirez is being disruptive. It has been tradition of the City Council to conduct the election of the Council President by a voice vote conducted in alphabetical order. Unless I hear an objection, we are prepared to proceed in that fashion. I did. I thought I did. Has Ms. Ramirez been removed? Sergeants, please remove Ms. Ramirez from the room. Okay. As Madam Clerk calls your name, please state the name of the council member that you are voting for to be the president of the City Council. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the vote.
Ms.
Proudly.
Ramirez is continuing to disrupt the meeting, Madam President.
Ms. Ramirez has left the room. Madam Clerk, please.
Councilmember Blumenfield.
I rise to support a man who has been a great leader this last term, who has herded cats, made a difference in an understated manner, and moved us forward on big issues, Mr. Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Bonin.
I rise to support a gentleman who can simultaneously represent 2 council districts without breaking a sweat. Fabian Wesson's husband, Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Buscaino.
I rise and support a mentor of mine, someone who's taken me under his wing, and oftentimes, most of the times, we see eye to eye. So, did he go up or down? It's with great honor that I nominate Herb Wesson as our council president.
Councilmember Cedillo.
I'm very pleased to support my brother, a colleague for many years, a man of incredible sage counsel, someone who has the temperament to lead many during times of crisis and difficulties, one who has a steady hand, and one who has the full confidence of myself, my team, and I know this body, my great brother, Honorable Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Englander.
I rise to support somebody that I do see eye to eye with. Councilmember Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Harris Dawson.
I humbly rise to support and vote for one of the most talented and consequential elected officials of our time, President Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Huizar.
This council has collectively moved forward on some big issues under the leadership of our current council president, and we must continue that. I nominate as well our current president, Councilmember Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Koretz.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd also like to nominate and support my very good friend and my former Assembly Speaker and my council president, a great leader, Councilmember Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Krikorian.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm very proud to rise in support of a man who 2 years ago stood in this chamber and staked out a bold vision for the future of Los Angeles, a vision of accomplishment, of big ideas, and has enabled the members of this council to see those ideas through to fruition, who's given us the ability to lead this city to lay the foundation for a brighter future. That's our great council president, Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Martinez.
Colleagues, I rise to support a man who has been not only a mentor to me, but someone who continues to push the envelope, one of the greatest fearless leaders Los Angeles has ever seen, a man who supports women unconditionally, has done that with myself and countless other efforts we've led on the city council. It's my pleasure to support my good friend, Herb Wesson.
Councilmember O'Farrell.
Thank you. Colleagues, I rise to support someone whose wicked sense of humor sometimes belies his extreme level of intelligence and wisdom, and that is our incoming president, Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Price.
Thank you. I rise to support a friend and a mentor and a real hero in our political community. Herb Wesson is someone who is not afraid of hard choices and not afraid to be inclusive. And regardless of his height, he is a man of great stature.
Oh, there you go.
And we love him. Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Colleagues, I rise in support of a gentleman who humbly served my community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley of the 7th District at a time when we didn't have leadership representing us. I rise in support of Council President Herb Wesson.
Councilmember Rue.
I rise to make it unanimous and support Wesson for Council President.
And Councilmember Wesson.
I support me.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a unanimous vote, Council President Herb Wesson.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We still have work to do, but before we start, baby, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, let's move forward with the election of the President Pro Tem. Madam Clerk, I will cede to you.
Councilmember Blumenfield.
Tensions in the room. Going to continue with the great leadership, Mr. Mitchell Englander.
Councilmember Bonin.
So many to choose from, actually. Englander.
Councilmember Buscaino.
Like Mr. President Wesson, Mitch, we've developed a great working relationship, and your leadership and commitment to this great city needs to continue in this role as pro tem, so I humbly nominate Mitch Englander.
Councilmember Cedillo.
Well, my voting partner, since you and I are many times on the 13-2 or 12-2 end, my brother, Mitch Englander.
Councilmember Englander.
Me too.
Councilmember Harris Dawson.
Mitchell Englander.
Councilmember Weezer.
a colleague who I've enjoyed working on large policy issues with, Councilmember Mitch Englander.
Councilmember Koretz.
I vote for my brother, Mitch Englander.
Councilmember Krikorian.
Proud to support my wingman on our budget and a leader on so many issues, Mitchell Englander.
Councilmember Martinez.
Proud to support a great man who leads us on a public safety committee, my friend Mitch Englander.
Councilmember O'Farrell.
In this rare instance, two Mitches are better than one. I support Mitch Englander.
Councilmember Price.
I support Mitch too.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
I support my very good friend, Councilmember Mitch Englander.
Councilmember Rue.
Mr. President, a point of clarification. No, I'm kidding. Of course, Englander.
And Council President Wesson.
It is with great pride that I would support Mr. Mitchell Englander. Let's give Mitch a round of applause. Congratulations. And now, Madam Clerk and members, one of the few things that I get to do on my own without any buy-in from anybody else, even though I think that this, without a doubt, is a unanimous vote, I'd like to present to you for our next term the next and current Assistant President Pro Tem of the Los Angeles City Council, the first Latina to ever hold this post, Ms. Nuri Martinez. At this time, I would like to ask all of the members who have just been reelected, plus Miss Monica Rodriguez, who just got elected, to go to the center of the horseshoe. And if I could get our city clerk, Miss Holly Walcott, to come and swear all of you in officially. So if you guys would please move to the center. Please face the crowd, right,
They
Holly?
keep giving me the microphone. Yes, please face me.
Let's put Ms. Rodriguez in the middle, gents.
I'm going to ask you all to raise your prominent hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California, and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of, and then state your office, according to the best of my ability. Thank you all, and congratulations.
Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations. Whatever you do, please do not ask Mr. Koretz to dance. Whatever you do, please, I beg of thee. To our guests that are here with us this special Saturday, I'd like for you to give a warm welcome for one of our great assembly members is with us today. Please rise. Raul Bocanegra. Give him a round of applause. And a dear friend, a former colleague in the state legislature, a colleague here on the city council. He is now in Congress. We pray for you. Tony Cardenas. Tony Cardenas. And ladies and gentlemen, please recognize, I can say this without pause, the greatest city attorney that I've served with, Mike Fuhr. Give him a round of applause. We have a few items of business to take care of, but I do want to see Ms. Martinez, if you wanted to say a few words to the colleagues and to the crowd that we have with us today. If so, the floor is yours, Madam Assistant President Pro Tem Nuri Martinez.
Give you a big round of applause. Thank you very much. And I'm also very excited to have my sister, a woman who needs no introduction, my good friend Monica Rodriguez. Can you please stand up? So, there's only been 3 Latinas that have ever served in the city of Los Angeles, and now you have 2 Latinas serving together from the same neighborhood in the Northeast San Fernando Valley, and that just makes me so proud. I'm glad that Assemblymember Bocanegra is here and Congressmember Cardenas is here. We often joke about what was at San Fernando High School. Maybe it was the water, because it produced a lot of politicians out of the Northeast San Fernando Valley. But 2 is better than 1. And even though we're the second largest city in the country, we have 2 women on the city council. We have a commitment to continue to grow that. And I just want to congratulate you, my friend, and I know you're going to do an extraordinary job. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez. Members, I also want to thank you because in the last 4 years, even though I was the only woman on the city council, each and every single one of you rose to the occasion every time we talked about pushing an issue that not only advocating for women, but for children and families. You have stood with me on issues of human trafficking. You have stood with me on issues of equal pay for women. We have stood together on issues of minimum wage. We have stood together on issues of environmental justice for communities like mine. Every step of the way, I cannot think of a time where I did not feel supported by the 13 men that I got to serve over the last 4 years. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who's been a tremendous supporter and champion of women's issues. Los Angeles is going to continue to lead. We're going to continue to lead at a time where we're not necessarily getting the support from Washington, D.C. that we deserve and that we need. But Los Angeles is going to continue to lead to be the city where little girls can be anything they want to be, look like everything they want to look like, and never be judged on their looks. We're going to continue to lead in that way. Our communities in Los Angeles are going to continue to live in communities where they have council members stepping up for them and making sure that their communities are safe and clean and that environmental justice issues get addressed in this council. And Los Angeles is going to continue to lead on minimum wage issues to make sure that our families, no matter where they come from, have an honest, good day's work and honest, good day's pay for their hard work. We're going to continue to lead in that direction as well. And we're going to make sure that no little girl ever finds themselves on Sepulveda Boulevard or on anywhere in other parts of Los Angeles, of South LA, being sold for sex by some gang member or some pimp that thinks it's completely normal to sell a 13-year-old on the streets. We're going to lead in that direction. We're going to make sure that we do everything we can to deal with human trafficking issues. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Los Angeles have led. In January, you saw women come up, and we took action, and 750,000 people marched in the downtown streets to make sure women's issues were being heard. A couple of weeks ago, we marched hand in hand on LGBT issues, on the Resist March, because Los Angeles continues to stand up for LGBTQ issues because they're important to us and they're important to Angelenos. And we've seen often our brothers and sisters on the immigration fight, making sure that ISIS takes their hands off of our families in Los Angeles, and then we stand up together to protect them. You have seen that day in and day out. And you have seen my friends from Planned Parenthood get up and have marches and rallies on the steps of City Hall to ensure that reproductive rights for women, that we don't go back, and we make sure that we stand up and make sure we send a big, loud, and clear voice of unity in Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. Keep your hands off of my body. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just very proud to continue to serve with you. We have so much work to do. And with Monica Rodriguez and myself on the City Council, I know that we're going to get really, really busy making sure that we continue to advocate for our districts, but ensuring that every single little girl and families in Los Angeles get to see not only 2 women on the City Council, but that we continue to grow the number and that our kids get to see and be whatever they want in this beautiful city. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Martinez. Mr. Englander.
You want me to follow that?
President Pro Tem, Mr. Englander. I know next time I'll call on you first.
No, that was done well, and the order was correct. Make no mistake. I'm just honored and humbled to stand before you, not only as the President Pro Tem, to actually call you all friends. I couldn't think of a better group of people that cares passionately about people, that unconditionally wants to do the right thing to help everyone. I've seen, so far, remarkable things done in this chambers, and it humbles me. Y'all know my background, and I'm just in awe every time I walk into this building. Somebody who pretty much grew up on the streets and homeless by a single mom who's been through a lot of tragedy, and everything happens for a reason. Now I'm able to work with all of you to help as many people as we possibly can each and every day. I'm in awe of all of you because I see the dedication that you put into this job. And it's not just a job. You've committed your life each and every day. You take the responsibilities and the oath so seriously, and I see that. I wish everybody saw the passion and the work that goes into setting the policy that we do, the work that we do for the people, because it's remarkable. And I don't think there's another chamber anywhere in the world like it. And I'm so blessed to work with and know each one of you and consider you family. So thank you very, very much for giving me this opportunity. God bless you.
Let's give Mr. Englander a round of applause. Members, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not going to lay out our agenda. What I do want to do is thank each and every one of you for the confidence that you have again shown in me. And working for the residents of this great city and working directly for each and every one of you is the greatest job that I have ever had in my life. And my wife and I thank you. Do me a favor and give yourselves a round of applause. And so that I could go home tonight and sleep in my own bed, I'd like for you to give my wife a rousing round of applause. My wife, Fabian. It's going to take a while for me to get used. I'm like, Mr. Weezer, you're not in your seat, so. This is where I usually rise, and Mr. Krikorian referenced it. And I lay out some items that we as a council are going to address in the upcoming year. But members, today is not President's Day. Today belongs to our re-elected and newly elected member, and today is the mayor's day. So I'm going to let him say whatever he wants to say, because I don't want to read an article that says he and I are not together, because the reality is we work together. The best relationship that any city council has ever had with the mayor has been this city council. And that's why we've been able to accomplish such great things. But members, I do have a lot of challenges for each and every one of you. We are going to tackle so many issues that people do not believe that we will be able to accomplish, but I know in my heart and in my soul, we will tick these things off one by one, and we, at the end of the day, will be successful. And those are the things that we are going to talk about when we come back the 25th of this month. That's when I will rise, and that's when I will urge you to join me in trying to take this great city to another place and make it greater. For some of you, and I can see Mr. Krikorian looking at me right now, probably wanting to duck, because he knows that I am giving him extra work to do. Mr. Cedillo will be chairing 2 standing committees, not 1. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We are going to do our very best to set the world on fire. And like I've always believed, the winds in this country blow from the west to the east, so the rest of America is looking to us. And I will close, members, with this. The residents of this city did not elect us to manage this city. They elected us to lead it. And by God, that is exactly what we are going to do. Also, on the 25th, all of our staff that works in City Hall, we're going to keep our tradition alive. We are going to have one, I was getting ready to, and I could feel my wife, watch your language. We are going to have one heck of a luncheon on the 25th, where we'll invite all of the City Hall staff, all of the staff of the council members. So I'm going to just keep my remarks, basically close it out with that. But again, thank you for your service. Thank you for re-electing me, and I promise you that I will work my guts out and be as fair as I can be. So with that said, Madam Clerk, in fact, you know what, just because I like to hear it, give the Los Angeles City Council a round of applause, the entire council. I believe that there's some work that we can do. So why don't you run through the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. There is a request to continue item 20 to July 25th, 2017.
So ordered.
And Mr. President, items 1 through 25 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Okay, with that said, please, Mr. Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Thank you, sir. That is approved. Madam Clerk, that brings us where?
Mr. President, a special motion 1 has been distributed, and there is a card on the item.
Okay, so do we need to vote on the findings, and then I'll take the card?
Yes.
Mr. City Attorney, you want to make the findings?
Yes, Mr. President. Since the posting of the agenda, it's come to the attention of the city that the committees need to be reorganized, and this will accomplish that action.
Okay, so let's vote on the findings. With that said, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Okay, it's my understanding we have one card on this item. Yeah, Mr. Eric Previn. Mr. Previn, are you still here? Mr. Previn, going once. Okay, Mr. Previn is not here. So let us prepare to vote on this item. Members, before we vote, I do want to say that Mr. Englander and members of my staff talked to your staffs. One of the things that was recommended is that each and every one of you wanted to try to come up with a way to spend more time in your district. That's why you see that we've reduced the number of 5-member committees significantly, and that's one of the things that we will be voting on in the next few seconds. So with that said, please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Madam Clerk, is there any additional business before this body?
Yes, Mr. President. Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted. They are referred. Announcements, members. All items forthwith. Mr. Buscaino.
Yeah, I have an announcement. I'd like to invite everyone. There's an inauguration right outside here. If you have nothing to do, just please join us all.
And if anybody needs tickets, just go see the tall Mr. Joe Buscaino. Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, after nearly 4 years of so many of you pestering me and bothering me, yes, I'm looking at you, Mr. Krikorian, about not wearing a necktie, it was a joy today to be able to hound 3 or 4 of you into putting on a tie for Mr. Wesson's vote today.
You know what, Mr. Bonin?
I will be back to normal on the 25th.
You know what, Mr. Bonin? Let's be evil for a minute. Why don't you identify the members that you had to force to wear a tie?
So the first one was Mr. Englander, who I caught in the hallway. Then I walked in and I saw Mr. Price and was disappointed that he lacked so much respect for the institution. And then Mr. Harris Dawson strolled in as he always does, and fortunately his wife Carrie saved him and had a tie at the ready for him. So all is good today.
All right. Miss Martinez? Okay, Mr. Englander.
Just one quick thing. Mr. President, you, and rightfully so, wanted to sleep in your own home tonight, recognizing your wife. I, too, wanted to recognize my wife, and because I don't want to sleep in your home tonight.
No, I don't want you. Please give her,
Jane,
Miss Englander, a round of applause.
Jane, please. Thank you.
In fact, would all spouses and significant others that are here today please rise, all of you. Stand up. Let us look at you.
Stand up. Come on, do a round of applause. Stand up.
That's a good-looking group.
All right, now this tie's coming off.
All rise. All in the council chambers, please rise. Well, I'm going to recognize for the very first time, I'm going to ask the city attorney to write this down, the date, the time, for the very first time that we recognize Monica Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a very surreal moment for me today. It's a moment that really began more than 23 years ago as an intern on the Los Angeles City Council working for Councilmember Mike Hernandez. But this journey would not be complete had it not been for the influence and support of so many individuals that have really helped prepare me for the job that I'm about to take today, that I've assumed today. And I want to thank, first and foremost, my colleague, Councilwoman Nury Martinez, for her incredible leadership and friendship and support. I greatly appreciate it. So many of my colleagues that were instrumental in helping me get here, but more importantly, my entourage in the audience, all my friends and family that are here, thank you all so much for your unabiding faith, commitment, and support. Of course, my family, my husband, my kids, Raul, Adrian, Eliana, I love you guys. Thank you all so much for your support, for the sacrifice that you've made. And to my mom and dad, we could have never dreamed of ever having this opportunity, and I'm just so grateful that we're here to enjoy it together. This is as much yours as it is mine. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, I'm going to look to my right, Mr. Koretz's side, to see if are there any adjourning motions. I do not see any. I'm now looking to Mr. Weezar's side. I don't see any adjourning motions. Members, before we adjourn, if we could gather so that we could take a group council shot at the center of the horseshoe. This special meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.